The stars looked different from the observation deck of the horizon. The first human ship to travel beyond the solar system. Admiral Catherine Morgan stood tall as she watched the massive structure grow larger in the view screen. The Galactic Council. Station orbited Proxima Centauri like a shining ring of metal and light. The mission was supposed to be humanity's grand entrance to the galactic community. No one on Earth expected what came next. Catherine straightened her uniform and checked her reflection in the polished metal wall. Her dark hair was pulled back in a tight bun. Her eyes showed no fear, but inside her stomach twisted into knots. First contact was about to happen, and the weight of human history rested on her shoulders. Horizon docked with a gentle bump. The airlock hissed open, revealing a long corridor bathed in blue light. 5 guards met them at the entrance. Their skin shimmered with scales in different colors. Their eyes had vertical pupils like cats. They carried weapons that looked like they were grown, not built. "Come," the tallest one said in perfect English. "The council awaits." Catherine exchanged glances with her second-in-command, Olivia Sinclair. They had practiced first contact protocols for months, but this felt wrong. The aliens already spoke their language. They knew who they were. They were expected. The council chamber stretched so high, Catherine could not see the ceiling. Hundreds of alien species sat in rising tiers around a central platform. Some looked almost human. Others defied description. Some floated in tanks of liquid. Some appeared as only patterns of light. The Centaurian arbiter stood in the center. His skin glowed with a soft blue light. His 4 arms were folded in front of his chest. His expression was impossible to read. Humans of Earth. The arbiter spoke, his voice echoing. "We have watched your planet for centuries. We know your history. We know your nature." Catherine stepped forward, ready to deliver her prepared speech about peace and cooperation. But the arbiter raised a hand to silence her. "Your species has been evaluated and found wanting." The arbiter continued. "Your history is stained with conflict. Your nature is unpredictable. Your technology develops too quickly, without wisdom to guide it." The council votes for quarantine. The chamber erupted in sounds. Some species buzzed. Others clicked or hummed. Catherine realized they were voting. And it was not in Earth's favor. "What do you mean, quarantine?" she asked her, voice steady despite her shock. The arbiter gestured and a hologram appeared showing the solar system. A red barrier appeared at its edge. "Earth is forbidden from interstellar travel, trade, and diplomacy." The arbiter declared, "No human vessel will be permitted beyond this boundary. No alien knowledge will be shared with your kind. You will remain isolated until you evolve beyond your violent tendencies. If you attempt to break quarantine, you will face consequences." The words hit Catherine like physical blows. The hope of joining a galactic community vanished in an instant, replaced by the reality of rejection. They had come seeking friendship and found judgment instead. "This is not fair," Catherine protested. "We have overcome so much as a species. We have ended wars, united our planet, developed sustainable technology. We deserve a chance. The decision is final." The arbiter said, "The quarantine begins immediately. Your ship will be escorted back to your system. Our monitoring stations will ensure compliance." The guards moved forward, surrounding the human delegation. Catherine felt Olivia's hand on her arm, urging caution. They were outnumbered, outgunned on an alien station. Fighting would only prove the council's point. The journey back to Earth was silent and heavy. The crew of the Horizon moved through their duties like sleepwalkers. The mission had failed in the worst possible way. They would return, not with the promised new age of galactic cooperation, but with walls closing in around humanity. In her private quarters, Catherine reviewed the sensor logs from the Horizon. The ship had automatically recorded everything it encountered, including fragments of alien technology, conversations in alien languages, star charts, and coordinates. Everything the council thought they had hidden. Most interesting were the coordinates marked in red on the alien charts. Systems deemed too dangerous for council exploration. "They think they've contained us," Catherine said to Olivia as they examined the data. "But they don't understand humans at all. Walls don't contain us, they challenge us. Olivia nodded, her eyes scanning the information. We could disappear into these forbidden regions, build something beyond their notice. They expect us to beg for acceptance, Catherine said, her voice hardening. But we will not. We will exceed them instead. When the Horizon reached Earth orbit, Catherine requested an immediate meeting with world leaders. The news of the quarantine spread quickly. Panic, riots, and depression followed. People had looked to the stars with hope. Now those same stars represented rejection. Catherine stood before the United Earth Council. Her face projected on screens around the world. Today we were judged unworthy by those who claim to be more advanced than us, she said. But I bring more than bad news, I bring opportunity. The screens behind her showed the data collected from the council station. They have abandoned whole regions of space. They fear what they do not understand, but we do not share their fear. We will use these forgotten corners to build something new. Something they cannot imagine. Her plan was bold. Earth would appear to accept the quarantine. The council monitoring stations would see a compliant planet. But beyond their sensors, humanity would work in secret. They would build ships that could slip past the blockade. They would claim the worlds the council feared. They would create an empire in Defiance. The vote was unanimous. Operation Shadow began. That day, research teams worked to understand the alien technology. Engineers designed ships that could evade detection. Scientists mapped the forbidden regions, planning for the greatest secret in human history. 3 months after returning to Earth, Catherine stood in a hidden facility beneath the lunar surface, watching as the first stealth probe prepared to test the council blockade. The tiny vessel was covered in materials that absorbed light and radiation. It would be invisible to standard sensors. We have 7 years before the council returns to evaluate our progress, Catherine said to the assembled team. 7 years to slip beyond their grasp and lay the foundation for our future. The probe launched silently. No alarms sounded from the monitoring stations. No council ships moved to intercept. Its first transmission came 8 hours later from beyond the quarantine line. The message contained just 2 words. Test successful. Catherine smiled for the first time since standing before the Arbiter. They had declared humanity dangerous, unpredictable. Well, they were right about one thing. The quarantine that was meant to contain humanity would instead launch them to the stars. The council had made a terrible mistake. They had not contained a threat, they had created one. 30 years passed since Earth received its sentence of isolation. The Oort cloud at the edge of the solar system bustled with secret activity, hidden from council monitoring stations. Director Samantha Wells stood at the viewport of the command center, watching as the massive shipyard worked on dozens of vessels at once. The prototype ship Defiance floated in the center dock, its hull gleaming with a material that absorbed light rather than reflected it. This is our answer to banishment, Samantha thought. Not to beg for acceptance, but to surpass those who judged us. Chief Engineer Maya Reeves approached, carrying a tablet with the latest test results. Her red hair was pulled back, showing the implant at her temple that connected her directly to the ship systems. The gravitational drive is ready for final testing, she reported. We have improved the council design. Their efficiency caps at 87%. Ours reaches 94%. The Defiance will be faster than anything in their fleet. Samantha nodded, her eyes never leaving the ship. The Defiance was unlike the bulky council vessels. It was sleek, angular, and designed to be nearly invisible to standard scanners. It represented 30 years of human innovation and determination. Show me the stealth system, she requested. Maya swiped on her tablet and a simulation appeared. The Defiance disappeared from the sensors, replaced by what looked like normal space radiation. Perfect, Samantha said. When can we begin the first mission? 2 days, Maya answered. The crew is running final drills now. Captain Laura Vega reports they are ready. The Shadow Fleet was not built for war but for expansion. While council species squabbled over known territories, humans would claim the unexplored. The regions marked dangerous on council charts would become the foundation of a new human empire in her private quarters. Samantha reviewed the mission parameters. The Defiance would be the first of 50 ships to slip past the blockade. It would establish a base in the Tau Ceti system just beyond Council space. From there, humanity would expand outward, claiming world after world, building in secret until they were too strong to be contained. Her communication panel chimed. A message from Earth Admiral Catherine Morgan appeared on the screen. Her face now lined with age, but her eyes still burning with the same defiance she had shown 30 years ago. Is it time? Catherine asked. It is, Samantha confirmed. The Defiance launches in 2 days, Catherine nodded. We have kept our end of the bargain. The monitoring stations see a compliant Earth. We have shown no signs of space development. The Council believes we have accepted our fate. That will make their surprise all the sweeter when they learn the truth, Samantha said. Be careful, Catherine warned. This is not about revenge. This is about survival, about claiming our rightful place among the stars. We build in secret not to wage war, but to ensure humanity cannot be erased. Samantha understood the warning. The Shadow Fleet was humanity's insurance policy against extinction. The Council had judged them too dangerous to join galactic society, so humanity would build its own society, one that could not be threatened or controlled. Days later, Samantha stood in the Defiance Command Center. Captain Laura Vega sat in the command chair, her crew at their stations. The ship hummed with power systems ready for the historic journey. Stealth systems active, Laura reported. All signatures suppressed. We appear as nothing but background radiation. Navigation has plotted a course through the monitoring network. The navigator announced, We will pass within 1,000 kilometers of the nearest station. They will not detect us. Samantha felt a chill of anticipation. They were about to defy the most powerful organization in known space. If they were caught, the consequences would be severe. But the potential rewards were worth the risk. Begin launch sequence, she ordered. The Defiance slipped from its dock. Its engines glowed briefly, then adjusted to emit radiation matching the background of space. To any observer, it would appear as nothing unusual. Just another patch of cosmic background. The journey to the edge of the solar system took 3 days. The Council blockade loomed ahead, a network of monitoring stations and automated defenses designed to keep humanity contained. The crew grew tense as they approached the first test of their stealth technology, monitoring station. Dead ahead, the sensor operator announced range 500 kilometers. Everyone held their breath as the Defiance glided past the alien structure. Its sensors swept the area, passing right through the spot where the human ship sailed invisibly. Reaction, Laura reported. They do not see us. The tension broke. People smiled. Some even laughed quietly. The first test was successful. The most sophisticated alien technology could not detect them. Beyond the blockade, the Defiance activated its gravitational drive. The stars blurred as the ship accelerated to speeds the Council believed impossible for human technology. The journey to Tau Ceti would take just under 2 weeks. Samantha sent a single encoded message back to Earth consisting of one word: success. Over the next 6 months, the Shadow Fleet expanded outward. The Defiance established the first colony on a world the Council had never explored. Other ships followed, creating a network of human settlements in regions marked Forbidden on Council charts. Each colony was self-sufficient, each settlement built with technologies that evolved beyond their Council origins. On the bridge of the colony ship, Pioneer Samantha reviewed reports from the growing human empire. 7 worlds claimed, 15 more identified for settlement. Nearly 10,000 humans now lived beyond the quarantine line, all hidden from Council knowledge. Maya entered the bridge, her expression serious. The Council monitoring ships are rotating, she reported. The primary fleet is moving to the far side of the system. Now is our chance to bring the 8th colony ship through. Samantha nodded. The timing was critical. The Council believed humans were contained safely on Earth. They had no idea that a growing empire flourished beyond their watch. The Shadow Fleet operated with absolute secrecy. No transmissions that could be detected, no technology that would draw attention. The colonies communicated using quantum-entangled pairs impossible to intercept. Movement between settlements followed careful protocols to avoid detection. This was humanity's answer to banishment. Not to fight, not to beg, but to build. To create something new. something better than what had rejected them. The 8th colony ship, Phoenix, prepared for departure from the lunar shipyard. Its holds filled with settlers, engineers, scientists, and equipment. Everything needed to establish a new human presence on a world 16 light-years from Earth. Samantha addressed the crew. "And colonists, before launch, you carry the future of humanity with you," she said. "You go to build not just a colony, but a statement. We were judged unworthy of the stars, so we claim them anyway. Each settlement, each innovation, is an act of defiance." The Phoenix departed as planned, slipping through the monitoring network like a ghost. Its course set for a world rich in resources, a perfect addition to the growing human sphere. 6 months into the mission, Samantha received an urgent message from the Defiance, now exploring the far reaches of human-controlled space. The transmission was brief but disturbing. "Found something, Council facility abandoned. Appears damaged, evidence of conflict. Need your authorization to investigate." Samantha considered the implications. The Council kept many secrets. Why had they abandoned a facility? Why was there evidence of conflict? What might humans find there that the Council wanted hidden? She sent her response. "Proceed with caution. Document everything. The secrets of the galaxy were vast." The Council had banned humanity, claiming they were too dangerous, too unpredictable. But perhaps the truth was simpler. Perhaps they feared what humans might discover. Perhaps they feared what humans might become. As the Shadow fleet expanded, Samantha could not help but wonder, what else had the Council hidden? What truths waited to be found? And when the day came that humanity could no longer hide its empire, what would the Council do? She looked out at the stars, once forbidden, now being claimed one by one. The quarantine had not contained humanity, it had challenged them, and humanity always rose to a challenge. The explorer vessel Pathfinder emerged from faster-than-light travel, near a blue-green planet in the Veil Nebula. Commander Ashley Dixon stood on the bridge watching as the main screen filled with images of their destination. The world looked pristine, untouched by civilization. A perfect place for the next human colony. This was the 7th world claimed in regions the Council feared to explore. Each carefully chosen, each settlement built with technologies that evolved beyond their Council origins. This particular system was marked hazardous due to historical significance on stolen star charts, a designation that made Ashley curious. Atmosphere analysis confirms its habitable, reported science officer Diana Foster. Her fingers moved across the sensor controls, bringing up more data, rich in iridium and palladium elements, the Council prizes. "Perfect for our needs." Ashley nodded, satisfied with the initial readings, but something bothered her. There was no obvious reason for the Council to avoid this beautiful world. The hazard designation made little sense unless they were hiding something. What about those energy readings from the northern continent? She asked. Diana hesitated, her expression changing from excitement to concern. "That's not natural. There appears to be a structure there. Ancient, possibly millions of years old." The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. The true reason for the Council blacklisting this system suddenly became clear. Not danger but secrecy. Prepare a landing. Team Ashley ordered full containment protocols. "I want to see this structure myself." 6 hours later, Ashley led a team of 12 specialists across the alien landscape. The air was breathable, the gravity slightly lighter than Earth. Plants with purple leaves swayed in the gentle breeze. The structure loomed ahead, partially buried in the side of a mountain. Its surface was dark metal, unmarked by time. Diana scanned the entrance. It reads as hollow. "The metal is unlike anything in our database. Not Council technology. Something older." Ashley approached the sealed doorway, which opened automatically as she neared. "It recognized us," she said, surprised. "How is that possible?" The team entered cautiously, lights illuminating a vast chamber inside. The walls were covered with symbols unlike any language humans had encountered. Pedestals held strange devices throughout the room. In the center stood what appeared to be a control panel, still humming with power after countless millennia. Diana moved. to the central console, her scanner hovering over its surface. This technology, it's incredible. It's still functioning after millions of years. The energy efficiency alone is beyond anything. The Council possesses a holographic display activated as Diana touched the console. Alien symbols shifted, forming patterns. The light coalesced into a three-dimensional star map of the galaxy, with certain regions highlighted. It's some kind of archive. Diana whispered, downloading data to her device. A repository of knowledge from a civilization that predates the Council. Ashley watched as information flowed across the screens. The ancient civilization had been spacefaring millions of years before the Council formed. They had mastered technologies the Council could only dream of: energy generation that defied current understanding, propulsion systems that made lightspeed travel effortless, artificial intelligence that transcended organic limitations. They didn't ban us because we were dangerous, Ashley realized as she studied the alien schematics. They banned us because they knew we wouldn't be controlled. We would find this knowledge and use it. We would surpass them. For 3 days, the team explored the archive, downloading everything they could, each discovery more astounding than the last. The ancient civilization had seeded life throughout the galaxy, Earth included. They had fought wars against enemies from beyond the galactic rim. They had eventually transcended physical form, leaving their knowledge behind for species they deemed worthy. "We need to report this," Ashley said after reviewing the latest findings. "This changes everything. The Council has been suppressing this knowledge not out of safety concerns, but fear of being surpassed." Diana nodded, still analyzing data from the archive. They built their power on controlled access to technology. They decide which species advances and which remains primitive. They banned Earth because they saw our potential to break their system. Ashley called an emergency meeting with all team leaders. The discovery was too important to keep secret, too dangerous to broadcast widely. They needed a careful plan. "We have 2 options," she explained. "We can keep this discovery to ourselves, using the technology to advance human interests alone, or we can share it with the other banned species. The Council has quarantined 17 worlds besides Earth. Species judged too unpredictable, too independent. The implications were enormous. Either option would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. The Council maintained control because they controlled access to advanced technology, but now humans had found a source of knowledge far beyond the Council's level. The team voted unanimously to share the knowledge, to build alliances with other banned species, to create a coalition of the rejected that could stand against Council authority. Ashley sent a coded message back to Earth explaining their discovery. Within days, ships departed for the other quarantined worlds under the cover of stealth technology. They would make contact with species the Council had deemed too dangerous for the galactic community. On the 5th day of exploration, the team made their most startling discovery yet: a chamber deep within the archive containing what appeared to be stasis pods. Most were empty, but one still functioned, its occupant preserved for millions of years. "The pod is still active," Diana reported. "Life signs detected. The being inside is alive." Ashley stared at the ancient alien, its form humanoid but clearly not human. Its skin had a metallic sheen, its features elegant with large eyes and a slender frame. It appeared to be sleeping, waiting. "Should we wake it?" someone asked. The question hung in the air. No one knew what might happen if they revived a being from a civilization millions of years advanced beyond their own. Would it be friendly? Would it see humans as worthy successors? Or would it view them as primitive creatures barely worth? Notice before Ashley could decide, the pod systems activated on their own. The cover slid open, mist pouring out. The ancient being opened its eyes, looking directly at Ashley. It spoke, its voice resonating not through air but directly in their minds. "You have come," the being said, "the inheritors we foresaw, the ones who would resist control." Ashley stepped forward, finding her voice. "We are humans from Earth. We discovered your archive by accident." "Nothing is accident," the being replied, standing with fluid grace. "We left markers in your genetic code, predispositions toward curiosity, independence, Resistance to control. When you were ready, you would find us. The Council recognized these traits. That is why they feared you. The revelation stunned the team. They had not found this place by chance. They had been guided here, fulfilling a plan set in motion millions of years ago. The being moved to the central console, activating systems dormant for eons. The chamber hummed with new energy. Displays showed ships hidden throughout the system. A fleet preserved in perfect condition. The harbingers will return soon. The alien explained. They come from between galaxies. They seek to harvest all life. The Council knows this. They have been hiding, preparing, to save only themselves. When the harbingers come, they will sacrifice quarantined worlds first. Ashley struggled to process this information. A threat so great, it made the Council conflict seem trivial. A danger to all life in the galaxy. The Ancient, being turned to Ashley, its eyes reflecting knowledge accumulated over countless millennia. We left these ships, these weapons, this knowledge for you. Use them well. Prepare, the Council will not save you. You must save yourselves, and perhaps save them, as well. As if responding to some silent command, the entire structure began to awaken. Systems long dormant hummed to life. Ships hidden beneath the surface rose through opening bays. An arsenal created by the most advanced civilization the galaxy had ever known now belonged to humanity. Ashley sent an urgent message to all human colonies. A new threat was coming. The expansion of human territory was no longer about defiance. It was about survival. The Shadow Fleet would need to become something. More A4s capable of defending not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy. The ancient being joined the humans as they prepared to return to their colonies. It would guide them, teach them, help them master technologies they could barely comprehend. The Council had meant to contain humanity to prevent them from disrupting the galactic order. Instead, they had pushed humans to discover a truth and a threat the Council had hidden. The banishment intended to weaken Earth had instead positioned humanity to become the galaxy's unlikely saviors. Ashley looked out at the fleet of ancient ships now under human control. Sometimes rejection leads to the greatest discoveries, she thought. Sometimes being banned is the beginning of something greater than acceptance could ever be. The distress call reached the human outpost on Vega Prime, with a message that chilled Admiral Lauren Powell to her core council ships were under attack by something ancient and terrible. Their mighty fleet was being systematically destroyed by an enemy they could not fight. They are requesting assistance from any vessels in range. Communications Officer Taylor Winters reported, her voice tight with tension. Their fleet is being systematically destroyed. Lauren watched the grainy footage on the main screen. It showed massive crystalline ships cutting through council defenses as if they were made of paper. The attackers had no visible weapons. They simply passed through shields as if they weren't there. Council vessels exploded or went dark. Their weapons had no effect on the crystal ships, the harbingers whispered Dr. Patricia Chambers, the xenoarchaeologist who had studied the ancient archives. Just as the Ancient One predicted, the civilization the Council tried to erase from memory has returned. For 5 years since the discovery of the ancient archive, humanity had been preparing colonies expanded rapidly. Ancient technology was studied and incorporated into human ships. The warning about the harbingers had accelerated everything. The once small Shadow Fleet had grown into a formidable armada ships, built with technology beyond anything the Council possessed. Lauren faced an impossible choice: reveal humanity's secret empire to help those who had banished them, or remain hidden and watch the galaxy fall. If humans intervened, they would expose their secret colonies, their stolen technology, their defiance of the quarantine. The Council might still punish them even after being saved. But if they did nothing, the harbingers might destroy all life in the galaxy. Plot an intercept course, Lauren finally ordered. And send word to Earth: all ships, all colonies must prepare. This is what we've been preparing for without knowing it. The human fleet mobilized quickly. 97 advanced vessels jumped to faster than light travel toward the Council core worlds where the attack was most severe. The ancient being, now called the Guardian, traveled with them, guiding them in the use of technologies humans were still learning. To Master Lauren stood on the bridge of the flagship Redemption, watching as they approached the battle zone. The Guardian stood beside her, its metallic skin gleaming under the bridge lights. The Harbingers cannot be defeated with conventional weapons, the Guardian explained. They exist partially in another dimension. Your weapons must be calibrated to affect their dimensional frequency. Lauren nodded, understanding the theory, if not the details. The ancient ships they had recovered were already equipped with such weapons. The human vessels had been retrofitted as quickly as possible, but not all had the necessary modifications. We will lead with the ancient vessels, she decided. Then our modified ships will follow. The rest will evacuate civilians and protect the retreat. The Guardian approved of the plan. The Harbingers do not seek territory or resources. They harvest consciousness. They will target population centers first. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly into chaos. The Council defense had completely collapsed. Crystal ships swarmed around major worlds. Council vessels fled in disarray. Millions of civilians waited for evacuation that might never come. The Guardian interfaced with the ancient vessels, activating weapon systems dormant for millions of years. Beams of golden energy lanced out, striking the crystal ships. Some shattered. Others withdrew. Others turned to face this new threat. The Council survivors watched in shock as ships of unknown design appeared, from nowhere firing weapons they had never seen. The crystal invaders reeled from the attack, suffering their first losses since arriving. A Council battlecruiser limped toward the human fleet. Its hull breached in multiple places, its weapons offline. A transmission came through. You were banned. The Centaurian commander gasped when Lauren's image appeared on his screen. How are you here? What are those ships? And yet here we are. Lauren replied. Now let's discuss how humanity can save you all. The battle raged for hours. The ancient vessels proved devastating against the Harbingers. The modified human ships held their own. The unmodified vessels evacuated Council civilians by the thousands. As the situation stabilized, Lauren ordered a transmission sent to all Council frequencies. This is Admiral Lauren Powell of Earth. The quarantine placed upon humanity did not contain us. It challenged us. While you watched our world, we built an empire in the stars. We you declared forbidden. We discovered truths you tried to hide. We found allies you tried to erase, and now we offer you salvation. The Council leadership responded from their hidden bunker. How is this possible? How did you break quarantine? How did you acquire such technology? Lauren gestured to the Guardian standing beside her. We found friends older and wiser than your Council. We found the truth about the Harbingers. The threat you knew was coming, but did not prepare for properly. The Guardian stepped forward, addressing the Council. Directly, I am the last of those you call the Ancients. We left our knowledge for those who would use it wisely. You found our archives and hoarded the knowledge, using it to control rather than advance. Those you banned, those you feared, those were the ones we chose as our successors. The Council representatives fell silent, the truth of their actions exposed, their authority undermined by the very species they had tried to contain. For 3 days, the battle continued. The combined fleet of ancient vessels and human ships pushed the Harbingers back from Council space. The cost was high. 20 ancient ships destroyed. 15 human vessels lost. But the Harbingers retreated, temporarily defeated. In the aftermath, Lauren coordinated relief efforts. Human medical teams treated Council wounded. Human engineers helped repair damaged infrastructure. The banned had become the saviors. The rejected had become essential. The Council leadership requested an emergency meeting. Lauren arrived with a delegation of human leaders and the Guardian. The meeting took place on the damaged Council station where humans had first been judged unworthy. Decades before. The quarantine of Earth is hereby lifted. The Centaurian arbiter announced, his once proud voice now humble. We acknowledge our error. We request alliance. Lauren studied the alien leaders, seeing the fear in their eyes. They did not offer alliance out of respect or regret. They offered it out of necessity. They needed the ancient technology humanity, now controlled. They needed protection from the Harbingers. "We accept your offer of alliance," she said. "But with conditions." The conditions were substantial. Earth would have full voting rights on the Council. All human colonies would be recognized as sovereign. Human ships could travel freely. The technology from the ancient archive would be shared with all species, not just those the Council deemed worthy. The other banned species would be offered the same terms. Most significantly, the Council structure itself would change. No longer would a few species control the advancement of others. Knowledge would flow freely. Innovation would be encouraged, not restricted. The Council had no choice but to agree. The Harbingers had exposed the weakness of their system. Their military lay in ruins, their authority shattered, their secrets revealed, as the formal treaty was signed. Lauren received word from the long-range scouts. The Harbingers had withdrawn, but not departed. They gathered at the edge of the galaxy, rebuilding their forces. The victory was temporary. The war had only begun. The Guardian confirmed the assessment. They will return stronger, more adapted to our weapons. The next battle will be more difficult. Lauren returned to the Redemption to find a message waiting from Earth. Admiral Catherine Morgan, now in her final years, had sent her congratulations and a warning. "You have done what I could only dream of." Catherine said, her image flickering. "You have forced the Council to recognize humanity's worth, but do not trust them completely. They will seek to regain control. They will try to access the ancient technology. They will smile while planning to contain you." Once more, Lauren understood the warning. The Council had ruled through control for thousands of years. They would not easily accept a new order. Even facing extinction, they would scheme for advantage. She ordered increased security at all ancient sites. Human scientists would continue to study the technology. Human engineers would continue to improve upon it. The Shadow Fleet, now revealed, would not disband but expand on the observation deck of the Redemption. Lauren watched Council ships and human vessels working side by side to repair a damaged station. The Alliance was new, fragile, built on necessity rather than trust. But it was a beginning. The Guardian joined her, its ancient eyes watching the same scene. "The Harbingers will return," it said. "But you have done what my people hoped. You have united those who would have remained divided. You have shared knowledge that would have remained hidden. You have prepared this galaxy for the true war that comes." Lauren nodded, understanding the enormity of what humanity had achieved and what still lay ahead. The ban meant to contain them had instead forced them to grow in secret, to innovate, to explore. The Council had tried to keep humanity small. Instead, they had created an empire of defiance, an empire that might now save them all. As she watched the ships move through space, Lauren thought about Earth's journey from rejection to secret empire to reluctant saviors. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from being underestimated. She had learned that lesson well, and she would make sure the Council never forgot it. 5 years after the Harbinger crisis, representatives from 200 species gathered in the orbital platform above Earth. The old Council was gone, replaced by a new coalition forged in the fires of necessity. The new Galactic Assembly had risen from the ashes of the old order, with humanity at its center. Chancellor Natalie Rivera addressed the assembly. Earth gleaming behind her, the great blue planet once quarantined, now stood as the heart of galactic civilization. The orbiting shipyards never slept, producing vessels equipped with ancient technology. Human colonies once hidden now served as forward bases in the ongoing war against the Harbingers. The old order believed stability came through control. Natalie began, her voice carrying. To all corners of the vast chamber, they suppressed knowledge they deemed dangerous and isolated species they couldn't predict. That approach nearly doomed us all. The delegates listened, some with respect, others with lingering resentment. The Council, races had lost their position of absolute authority. Some still struggled to accept the new reality, a reality where humans stood as equals or even leaders. 5 years ago, the Harbingers nearly destroyed us all. Natalie continued. Only through unity, through sharing knowledge, through embracing our differences have we pushed them back. But the war continues. The enemy adapts. We must adapt faster. The war against the Harbingers had transformed the galaxy. Battle lines extended through multiple sectors. The crystalline invaders had been driven back but not defeated. They learned from each encounter, evolving their tactics. Their ships now resisted some of the ancient weapons. Human and allied scientists worked constantly to develop new countermeasures. Our banishment forced us to innovate, Natalie said, to build in secret and reach beyond known boundaries. We turned exclusion into advantage. Now we offer a different path forward. Not a council that restricts, but an alliance that explores. The once hidden, human colonies formed the backbone of civilization's defense. The ancient technology humans had discovered was now shared across species. Academies on Earth taught alien students. The knowledge the old council had hoarded was freely available. Those races once deemed too primitive, too dangerous, now contributed their unique perspectives. Their differences became strengths, not liabilities. Admiral Lauren Powell, now Supreme Commander of the Allied Fleet, stood at Natalie's side, her uniform decorated with medals from a dozen worlds. Her reputation as the savior of the core worlds made her a legend across the galaxy. Our fleet has held the line at the Perseus Arm, Lauren reported. New defenses are in place. The ancient shield technology has been successfully adapted to protect major population centers. The Alliance had constructed massive shield generators around key worlds, a technology recovered from the ancient archives. These shields existed partially in the same dimensional frequency as the Harbingers, making them effective barriers. The old council would have restricted such technology, keeping it for themselves. The new alliance deployed it wherever needed. The Centaurian representative, once among those who had voted to banish Earth, approached the podium. Her species had suffered greatly in the initial Harbinger attack, their homeworld still scarred from the invasion. We judged humanity for its warlike past, she admitted. Yet when the true war came, it was Earth's defiance that saved us all. We offer our formal apology. Natalie nodded acceptance, but her expression remained firm. We didn't build our empire for your approval. We built it because you told us we couldn't. And that perhaps is the most human trait of all. In the years since the Alliance formed, humanity had continued to explore regions once forbidden. They discovered more ancient sites, more knowledge, more technology. Each finding was shared, each advancement implemented across allied worlds. The openness that the old council had feared became the galaxy's greatest strength. The guardian last of the ancients served as advisor to the Alliance leadership. Its knowledge guiding the war effort, its presence a reminder of the civilizations that had come before. You have exceeded our expectations, the Guardian told Natalie in a private meeting after the assembly. We left our legacy, hoping it would be found by worthy successors. You have proven yourselves worthy. Natalie smiled, though weariness showed. In her eyes, the burden of leadership during wartime weighed heavily. 5 years of constant vigilance, 5 years of decisions that sent people to die, 5 years of pushing civilization forward while fighting for its very survival. Is it enough, she asked Will. It'd be enough to stop them. The Guardian considered the question, its ancient eyes reflecting countless millennia of experience. The Harbingers are persistent. They have destroyed galaxies before, but never have they faced such unified resistance, such rapid adaptation, such determination you have accomplished in 5 years. What took my people centuries, from her honorary seat in the Assembly, Admiral Catherine Morgan, now in her final years, watched with pride. The young lieutenant who had stood before the council and received humanity's banishment was now well over 80, but she had lived to see her defiance bear fruit. The quarantine that should have confined humanity to a single world had instead launched them to the stars. We didn't just defy them, she whispered to herself. We transcended them. After the assembly, Catherine met with Natalie and Lauren in the Chancellor's office. The 3 generations of human leadership together, for perhaps the last time, the old Admiral's health was failing. Her final wish had been to see Earth one more time, to witness what had grown from the seeds of defiance she had planted. You have built something remarkable, Catherine told them, her voice weak but her eyes still sharp. Something I could only dream of when we first slipped past their blockade. Natalie nodded with respect. You gave us the stars when they tried to take them away. Everything we have built stands on the foundation you created. Catherine smiled. The Guardian tells me the Mew harbingers are gathering for another major assault. Are we ready? Lauren stepped forward, her uniform bearing the weight of command. We are stronger than before. The ancient weapons have been improved. Our understanding of their dimensional technology grows daily. The Alliance stands united. But something troubles you, Catherine observed. Lauren hesitated, then spoke honestly. The Harbingers adapt quickly. Each encounter they learn from, they absorb information, they evolve. We win battles, but the war continues. We need something more, some advantage they cannot counter. Catherine nodded, understanding. I have been studying the ancient texts with the Guardian. There is mention of a weapon, a final measure. My last contribution will be to help find it. The search for the ultimate weapon became Catherine Morgan's final mission. Though her body weakened, her mind remained sharp. She worked with the Guardian, translating ancient texts, studying star charts, connecting fragments of information. 3 months later, as her health failed further, she called Natalie and Lauren to her bedside. I found it, she whispered, her voice barely audible. The coordinates, an ancient world beyond the galactic rim, a place where the ancients built their last hope. The coordinates led to a small planet orbiting a dying star. A world the ancient texts called the Forge. There the most powerful weapon ever conceived had been constructed and hidden. A device capable of shifting entire regions of space into another dimension, removing the Harbingers from our reality entirely. A final expedition was launched. The Redemption, carrying Lauren the Guardian and a team of the Alliance's best scientists. The journey would take them beyond known space into regions never mapped. Catherine did not live to see their return. Her final act was to pass the ancient key recovered from the first archive to Lauren. The key that would activate the Forge. The human who had begun the journey of defiance, entrusting humanity's future to the next generation. 1 month later, the Harbingers launched their greatest assault. 1,000 crystal ships struck simultaneously across 6 sectors. Alliance defenses held but barely. The cost was tremendous. Worlds damaged, fleets decimated, billions displaced. As the battle reached its climax, the Redemption returned. The ancient weapon had been found, activated, prepared. The technology beyond comprehension, even to the Guardian, but the human scientists had deciphered enough. They understood its purpose, its power, its cost. The device required a living mind to guide it, someone to target the dimensional shift, someone to ensure only the Harbingers were affected. The Guardian had volunteered. This is why my people left me in stasis, it explained, to complete this final task. To end the cycle of harvest, to give the younger races a future without this threat. The weapon was deployed from Earth orbit. Its activation created a tear in space itself, a golden light spreading outward. The Harbinger, ships caught in the light, wavered, became transparent, then vanished. The dimensional shift removing them from our reality. The Guardian faded with them, its final task, complete its ancient race, finding peace at last. In the aftermath, the Alliance gathered. To rebuild the weapon could never be used again. The energy required had burned it out beyond repair. The Harbingers were gone, but so was the Guardian, and the last direct link to the ancient civilization that had come before. 1 year later, Chancellor Natalie Rivera stood before the new Galactic Assembly in the rebuilt chamber today. We remember those we lost, she said. We honor their sacrifice, but we also celebrate what we have built together. Not just victory, but understanding. Not just alliance, but friendship. The stars once forbidden to us now shine as beacons of opportunity. The Earth Empire now stood as the center of a new galactic order, one built not through conquest but